This week we head to Ampro Tools Woodford Glen Speedway in Christchurch for the first of 3 nights of Speedway action. It's the Ampro Tools New Zealand Streetstock Title, with 90 cars from all around the country are broken down into 4 groups and will race each other 3 times. 6 cars from each group will make it through to the finals, then another 2 will come by way of repechage. But sit back and enjoy the first night of 3 nights, with qualifying up first at the Ampro Tools Woodford Glen Speedway for the New Zealand Streetstock Title.
Okay, so we are here with the current New Zealand Grand Prix champion, also South Island champion and newly crowned Canterbury champion, Daryl Hoon, as they call you, Richards. Mate, you must be feeling confident going into tonight, are you?
Oh, yeah, a wee bit nervous, but just go out there and do what we've got to do. Yeah, it'll be what it'll be, Stiffy. So there's a wee bit of confidence there, a few nerves, but we'll just go and do what we do.
So, psychologically or mentally going into this New Zealand title here tonight at Woodford Glen, how are you feeling?
Just relax, just trying to treat it like another club meeting down in Chicago, eh? But there's a few fast boys here tonight from up north, and we'll just try and keep it tidy and go from there.
That's right, and the car, the car's been flying, hasn't it? It's been absolutely humming for you. So, how does it feel tonight?
It's good. We've done a couple of changes to the tyre size on the back, and we'll see how that goes tonight. And hopefully that works. Give us a bit more grunt out of the hairpin. It's a bit of a tricky one to get that right, but it should be all good. It should hook up, I'd say. Track's looking pretty good, so we'll just do what we do.
Okay, so we're here with one of the, top drivers in the country at this stage from Rotorua, Chris Shingleton. Mate, you feeling confident with a 3NZ going into tonight's qualifying?
I just got to push it hard and hope for the best at the end of the night. There's a lot of good drivers in our group. Just hopefully the good ones sticking with the good ones and hide from the bad ones. It's a bit of a bullseye with the 3 on the side, but it's New Zealand's what you get.
What is, as you did say, there is a big bullseye on the side of your car being 3NZ, so what would be your plan of attack going into tonight?
Take no prisoners, go hard or go home.
Well, that's pretty much right too. How are you feeling mentally? How's the car feeling? I noticed a lot of mud around your car, so you went out for practice obviously. How's the car and yourself feeling going into qualifying?
We had a few little dramas in practice, but it should be all fixed now. Been a busy week trying to get it all going and coming down here, so the car was hooking up on the track real nice. Just hopefully wait for it to slick off a bit and it'll suit me fine. Any
sponsors you'd like to take care of while we're here, Chris?
Yep, Aussie Spares. Without him we wouldn't be here. He's the one who does the car, spares, everything. Shit Cartridge, he does my fuel, pays my fuel for my tow car and for this. Myself, Casey Race Cars, and who else have I got on here? Scope and Kaikoui Trailers.
Okay, so we're here with one of the North Island drivers from Gisborne, Brendan Gooch, 2 times 3NZ. How are you feeling going into tonight's qualifying?
Yeah, good, feeling good, and sweet as.
How's the car feeling? I see a bit of mud, so you've obviously went out for the practice laps and feeling good out there?
Yeah, it was good, practice was good, and track's grass, yeah.
How are you feeling mentally going into this? Being a 2-time 3NZ, you know what you got to do out there to qualify. You know what you got to do in the finals. So, game plan, mentally, how you feeling?
Mentally, yeah, good, focused, yep. And just get out there and have a bit of fun and see what happens. Anything can happen in streeties.
That's exactly right. And any sponsors you want to take care of while we're here, Brendan?
Yeah, I'd like to thank my cousin Shannon, Wicked Tints, big sponsor this year, and my mate Gizbuild, and give me a fuel card to come down here is a big help, and Mangapapa Garage. And Wanapart, the old brother's got parts, and it's all good.
Welcome everybody to the Ampro Tools Woodford Glen Speedway for this, the New Zealand Streetstock Title. 2 nights of action-packed action is basically what's going to happen here. And,
action.
Yeah, absolutely. So for those people that are looking to get some coffees and hot dogs and chips now, Tony, it's probably a good time to go and do it about now.
Absolutely, you go now and you avoid the queue and you don't miss any of the racing we've got.
Yeah, hey, down here with the current 1NZ, Paul Simon. Paul, you've had that 1NZ on the car for the past season. You've got it for another 2 nights. Main goal for tonight will be qualifying. You had a good run here a couple of weeks ago in the Canterbury Champs, so you'll be looking to carry that on.
Yeah, we hope we can carry it on. We had a good run here a couple of weeks ago, so we'll just do the same tonight, and if we make the top 26, we'll be happy.
It's hard in this sort of environment. You know you're on a hiding to nothing with a lot of Canterbury cars, but you've been around a long time. You've had some numbers on your car. So you're wise. You know how many laps have you done, mate? You know where to go and how many to pass to get into the finals.
Yeah, we've been doing it a while now, so it's a luck game tonight. All we've got to do is keep it out of trouble and keep the wheels on it, and keep it pointing in the right direction and be in the top 6. That's all we've got to do, and hopefully we can get there.
All right, mate. Good luck for the rest of the night. Hope you get through to tomorrow night. All the best, and we'll see you in the finals.
Oh, I hope so. Yeah, thanks.
Okay, of course, now just Ivan's going to make his way over to the current 2NZ man. It is Steve Pedersen. Back down to Ivan.
Steve, current 2NZ, local guy. There'll be high hopes to get through tonight, just to qualify, and then tomorrow night's another deal altogether.
Yeah, qualification, it's all we're in for, tonight.
Do you think going into an event like this, with you running 2 classes, a lot of people probably are not aware that you run A-grade saloon car as well, the driving and the long laps get you race ready for a big event like this?
Yeah, I just seem to slip off the radar a wee bit, so that's why we do the 2.
Okay, all the best for tonight, mate, and hope you get through.
Alrighty, folks, and of course now Ivan will make his way over to the man that's come a long way to defend his 3NZ. It is the car of 3NZ, and it is Chris Shingleton.
Chris, a long way to come from Rotorua. You've got the 3NZ on your car for another 2 nights at least anyway, or a night and 3/4. Mate, you've been down here and raced before?
First time down this end of the island.
How'd you find the practice?
Bit to get your head around though, bit sticky on the pole line, but hopefully she slicks up and we'll get it going.
How have you been faring in the North Island? We see a wee bit of results from you guys compared to the South Island. Things going okay for your season so far?
No, not really. I've had a bit of a up and down season this year. I've got a new motor and I've had nothing but headaches with it. So got it fixed for the North Islands, but the boys weren't going to let me get up the top and finish second there last year. They certainly weren't going to let me there this year. So,
well, let's hope that all your bad luck's what you wanted before this event, because the last thing you want is any more. So we wish you well. Thanks for travelling down from Rotorua, and good luck, and hopefully you get through for tomorrow night.
Yeah, hope so. Thank you.
Okay, of course, thank you very much, Ivan. Of course, Ivan's our man that's going to be floating around in the pits and down around the bits and pieces to catch up with all the guys after they've had their races and stuff. And we've still currently got a big field of these street stocks. I do believe, Tony, there's about 88 odd or 90 odd street stocks ready to battle here tonight.
Yeah, I think it's just on the 90 mark. It might be 89 or 90, and they've come from all around the South Island, and a handful of cars from the North Island, which is a really good effort. I mean, often street stocks are seen as I wouldn't say a budget grade, but they're a lower cost grade compared to many of the grades in Speedway, and so travelling for these guys can be a bit of an issue. You know, they're not running a big budget racing operation, so getting across Cook Strait for a national championship is a big ask. And it's great to see that some of these North Islanders have made the effort to come down here to Woodford Glen and race in their national title.
Absolutely, and of course that's exactly it. So just to give you, for those people that are new to street stock racing, a bit of indication of what these guys are. They are a purpose-built race car. Some of these guys obviously build them from pretty much the ground up, and based off a floor pan, and then they sort of add all the bits and pieces onto that. They are pretty much the same as their production type engines that they came out with. They can't do anything really to those. A lot of bar work in them. It's obviously to be able to take the hits and bits and pieces as well. And other than that, they're no different than a Falcon or a Holden that you see floating around the streets here in Christchurch or around the rest of the country as well. Now, they can race in either direction as well, which is pretty much unique to the street stocks as well. So you'll see them here. Sometimes it's pretty much, a lot of the time it's up to the clerk of the course when they come out onto the track. And when we get a big field of street stocks like we've got now, you'll see them go around the track in different ways quite often, because once one car, a lot of cars has gone around one way, they like to what they call unwind the track, which means they go back the other way, and it pushes all the clay back the other way, so it keeps it nice and tacky and smooth and all that sort of stuff as well. So other than that, you can see a good mix of cars out there. A couple of Jappers, of course, Paul Simon, the Toyota Sora V8. Big Falcons and Holdens and stuff. You see the odd wagon, and yes, so some very, very good cars here. Cars to watch out for, I suppose. Anybody here, and the who of street stock racing. You get likes of the Steve de Malmanches and those Trevor de Malmanche that travel from Rotorua. We've got an X1NZ in the form of the 33C car of Don Garfley. We haven't seen him for a long time, and all of a sudden there's a New Zealand Streetstock title on his home track, and that gives him all the nous to come and bring the car out and have another crack at it. And hopefully, if he does get it, he will stay racing.
And let's not forget Simon Bland, also former 1NZ as well.
Absolutely, and of course Simon now contracts to the Wanganui Club and does still do a lot of racing down on the South Island as well. Lives in Ashburton, but does do the odd meeting in Wanganui and stuff as well. Another car out there, 33 Steve Dryden. I think he's been 4 NZ more times than I've had hot dinners. So he's never been able to get into that 1, 2 or 3, and he's starting to get old. Is probably the...
well, we all are actually, Jace, but yeah, carry on.
No, he's particularly old.
Oh, okay.
You know, that's the whole chop and half type scenario, count the rings. You know, that's how old he is. So, and of course, he was running out of time, and he wants to really have a good crack at this New Zealand title. He stayed under the radar for most of this season, just did what he needed to do, and let's see what he can do here as well. Another card to watch out for is a guy they call Hoon, Daryl Richards, 76D. Now, you didn't know who he was last weekend, but you certainly know who he is now.
Yeah, lots of people have told me who he is. And lots of people have told me that I should have known who he was, and they're quite right too.
Okay, folks, here we go. The first group, the Blakely Construction Group, bleeds them out now. And up the front, the 8 car of Colin Robinson, South Island champion a couple of seasons ago. And he's got the Toyota Saurus. 63 Action Jackson, the Kiwi Auto Spares sponsored car. He'll be out next. The 24 machine of Chris Elkington. And behind him, the 9 car from Nelson, Ryan Musgrove. And then we go back to the 86 car of Shane Chapman, the big Holden. 16, it is the 16i. That's Casey McEwen. All sorts of issues with motors and bits and pieces, but he's out there anyway. 72B, Darren Melling's back as well. 44 car is out there. That's the car of Andrew Keach. The 11 car of JC Anderson, the 36 machine. It's Nigel Thomas from Christchurch. 31, Simon Bland, the Aussie Auto Spares car. The 271 car also from Christchurch, Glen Redmond. The 828, the Tori Heam, Paul McDonald Earth Moving car of Matt Stewart from Dunedin. 4, car of Toby McClenaghan from Christchurch. 93 from Blenheim is Aaron Schumacher. Back behind him, the 13 car of Scott Palmer from Christchurch. 19, the Kiwi Auto Spares car, and that is Chris Lee. Behind him, the 32 car from Nelson and Graham Kiddo. The Autotech Tuning 27 car of Peter Knight is out there from Invercargill. 54 car of Kirk Aldridge from Christchurch. The 58 car from Rotorua is Michael King. And I think that's maybe it. I know we've got one still coming out. One car's pulled into the infield already. The 9 car, Ryan Musgrove's parked up, so he's not going to make the start. So you'll see that in row 2, there's a gap there. So that's where he would have lined up. We're getting ready to go. Clark of the course hands it over to the starter. The starter's got his green bits up. We should be up and underway very shortly here. Ampro Tools, Woodford, Glen, Speedway qualifying for the New Zealand Street Stocks. Let's do it. Go now. Racing. And up and away we go. The 63 car of Steve Jackson gets a beauty of a start. He'll make his way up into MasterCard turn 1 and 2 now. 16 Casey McEwen would be your next place car. Looks like Shane Chapman's having a wee bit of issues down in the going into 2. He's riding the wall at the moment now. And also looks like a couple of other cars. The 16 car of McEwen's been spun out as well. And those two have parked up. And the 271 will get going now as well. Up the front, 8, it is the car of Colin Robinson. He'll lead them up into 1 and 2 now. On his outside, the Kiwi Auto Spares car of 63 Action Jackson's in that next spot now. 72 Melling's got that nice car there, dialed him beautifully. He's made his way up into 3rd spot. On his back behind him, 36 Nigel Thomas being passed on the inside by the 24 car of Chris Elkington. Here we go for Toby McClenaghan's ducked down the inside of 36 as well. 1 spot back, 13 Scott Palmer would be your next place car. Then 31 Simon Bland from the 44 car of Andrew Keach now. Up the front we go though, and Colin Robinson starting to drive away. We went with this one. Simon Bland's just flicked the 36 car. Red is out. There's a car facing the opposite direction right up at the front straight here, Tony.
Yeah, that was the 11 car. JC Anderson getting a little bit taily and got a bit sideways coming down the straight and clipped the 54 of Kirk Aldridge there. Both cars spun out fairly violently. Hopefully both drivers are okay.
And of course, if you're the primary cause of the red, you're off too. So yeah, that's probably another reason why you'll see the car that's gone off. Racing we go. Aldridge does not move though, but the 8 car of Colin Robinson does go across the start-finish line, and he leads the charge just beautifully here, makes his way up into 1 and 2 now. About 8 back behind him. Darren Melling's got the 72 car from the Bay, dialed him beautifully now. Always been a very good competitor down in the South Island. And behind him, 63 Steve Jackson still holds off that 3rd spot. 4 Toby McClenaghan's in next. In 24 Chris Elkington would be your next place car from the 13 machine there of Scott Palmer. Looks like they're going to have a wee bit of a touch here. 31 Simon Bland's all sideways going past us. He's managed to keep it going though. 13 Scott Palmer had a good crack, but it didn't come of anything. And 44 Andrew Keach is the only one that's gained out of that. He's gained up another spot now as well. Then behind them, it's a bit of a gap back to the 32 machine, your next place car of Graham Kiddo, and behind him, 93 car from Rotorua, from Blenheim is Aaron Schumacher. He'll be on that next spot as well. Now we're looking at the leader coming off that turn number 2, Masterguard now racing in the opposite direction, lines it up for the back straight, and he leads the charge. He's got about 15-20 over the 72 car of Melling. 63, Steve Jackson's having a wee look. He's going to give him a bit of a tap here, and that'll put Melling around, so it'll put him further down the field now. For Toby McClenaghan goes round him, as does the 271 car of Glen Redmond. Also Keach, and there looks like the 31 car of Bland as well. But we look through the field and going down the back straight now. 24's had a bit of a snot to the wall there of Chris Elkington up. He's got a lot of damage to the left front of that machine as the 8 car of Colin Robinson now comes off turn 4, goes across the start-finish line to complete lap number 7. And behind him, 63 car of Steve Jackson's in that next spot now as they come off that turn 2. The big gap back for Toby McClenaghan from 72 Melling. Melling didn't lose too much, 27 Peter Knight. He's just gone round going into the entrance of turn number 3, and looks like the 271 car's having a wee crack at the 31 car of Simon Bland. Bland seems to have that car dialed beautifully, but look at this 13 machine. There's a wee bit of an issue between those two before, and let's see what 13 can do after he's caught up. The left front's collapsed on the 24 car of Chris Elkington as he comes across the start finish line. Robinson still leads the charge in the 8 car though. He's got it going beautifully. The red's on, and that'll be for obvious reasons. That guy's peeling the track apart in the 24 machine. Seriously?
Hit the wall fairly hard in turn 2 there. I think he probably got pushed in. I didn't see who exactly did it. Also, I see Shane Chapman putting the spin on the 27 car from Invercargill as well. Good on him.
Rightio, racing we go again. They're back up underway. No mucking around here. The red's off, green's on, and 8 Colin Robinson's come to a stop. He's put the thumbs down by the looks of things, and he'll have to come off after leading that race by country mile. That's that.
He was 1.3 seconds ahead of the second place car of Jackson the last time they went across the start-finish line. They've completed 8 laps of, I think it's a 15-lap race, isn't it?
Ready, green, red, pink. Let's go racing. 63, the Kiwi Auto Spares car. Yes, it is Steve Jackson. He's the one that leads the charge now, and 3/4 of a length to the front straight back to the car and truck painter 72 car of Darren Melling, who's up in second spot now. And behind them, it's the 4 car of Toby McClenaghan. Then we go back 1 spot to the 44 car. I think Keach is up there in 5th spot. 1 spot back, 31 is Simon Bland. He's been pushed all the way by 13 Scott Palmer though, as they make their way up into turn 3 and 4, racing in that opposite direction now. Let's have a look. Action Jackson. He comes off turn 2. Masterguard now lines it up for the back straight. Heads towards the middleman turn now. And got a beautifully comfortable wee lead here. 72 Darren Melling's all by himself. Back in second spot. Nothing really in front or behind him. And then back behind him, Toby McClenaghan would be your next place car. 44 Andrew Keach has been caught up by 31 Simon Bland, who had a few issues earlier on in the race. Here goes the big hit again. But that 13 car, he can't put him away. In actual fact, he probably lost all the momentum himself. And 13 Scott Palmer drops back a wee bit now, and it's all pretty spread out sort of stuff going on here, but 13 Palmer goes to the wall, going up into turn 1. He's got back going again, so it's all spread out here. Steve Jackson easily leading this one from the 72 car of Melling now. Back behind him still Toby McClenaghan. Keach is next, then the 31 car of Simon Bland. Then a bit of a line-up here. 32 car of Graham Kiddo has it over the 13 machine of Scott Palmer. Back and behind him we'll see 19 Chris Lee, and the 93 car of Aaron Schumacher's there or thereabouts as well. We're into lap 14, so the white flag should just about come out this next time round for Steve Jackson, who is just coming off into turn 3 now, and coming off 4, you should see a white come out, and he's just about caught up with the guys that are in 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th and stuff, as he gets the white flag. 1 to go. Up into 1 and 2 he goes. Still waiting for second to come across the line. There he is. It is the 72 car of Darren Melling. He's pretty comfortably holding off that second spot at the moment. And then it's a bit of a lineup for Toby McClenaghan, Andrew Keach, Simon Bland, and the rest is sort of sorting themselves out now. But here comes the checkered flag, the Kiwi Auto Spares 63 car of Steve Jackson. He'll take race number 1. Coming off turn 4 now is the second place car, 72 Darren Melling. From 4, Toby McClenaghan, 44 Andrew Keach, 31 Simon Bland would be your next place car. Then it will be the 13 of Scott Palmer. From 19 car of Chris Lee. Then the 271, I think, would be just about, no, it'll be the 32 car of Graham Kiddo would be your next place car. Actually, no, it won't be because I'm all screwed up there. 86 Shane Chapman from 32 Graham Kiddo, who's running up the top 10, Tony T.
And it's a pretty good result for Action Jackson there, isn't it? He needed that because he was off the front row of that grid, so he really needed to convert that front row into a first or second place, and he did that pretty well. Ended up finishing 9 seconds ahead of the second place car of Melling from the Bay. He put in the some pretty quick laps there towards the end. He was the quickest car for the last few laps of the race, but the quickest lap overall was Jackson with a 21.86, Melling a 21.91. And a big mention to Toby McClanahan as well, the 4C car. Finished third, he came from near the back of the grid off the start, so he will have made up some places there and got himself some valuable points.
So Steve Jackson, first race of the night, and you come out with a win. You'd be pleased with that.
Yep, very happy.
You had a front row start, so it's pretty important to get a good result in that race, wasn't it? Because later on it's going to get more difficult.
That's right, yeah, take the opportunities where they come, so good start.
And you were passing up to about 5th or 6th place, I think, by the time you got to the end of the race, so you'd be reasonably happy with your pace.
Yeah, sort of try to back off a little bit so we don't get tied up with anyone else and get in trouble. So,
fantastic. Well, we wish you lots of luck for the rest of the night.
All right, thanks very much.
Thank you.
I've just spoken to Colin Robinson in the 8C car. The reason he never got going again, he stalled it off the green light and it wouldn't fire up again in time for him, but it's up and running. He just fired it up in front of me and it started good as gold.
Oh, that would gut him, wouldn't it?
Yeah, he wasn't happy, mate, so I just walked away.
Yeah, fair enough too. Rightio, so they get this one lined up here. 3NZ car of Chris Shingleton's out there, 4N of Gordon Ingham. Then we go 7 from Nelson, Thomas McLeod. 8 from Dunedin, Craig Blackler. 11 from Dunedin, Kerry Campbell. 23C from Christchurch, Dwayne Kennett. 32C, Levi Angel. 37I from Riverside Speedway in Chicago, Arnie Tahuta. 45C, Ray Massey. 49N, Mike Edinginger. He'll do 59R is Alan King. I'll get that sorted out. Then we go back behind him. 61 is Thomas Earnshaw. 69 Brian Hurst. 77 Corey Schumacher. 85 Tristan Sargent. 88 Mark Reeve. 92 Rob McSherry. 121 Sinead McNally. 61 Anthony Clark. And 661 car from Dunedin Russell Stewart. 77 will have the front row. Corey Schumacher on his outside. 92 will be Robert McSherry. And Tony T looks like he wants to say something.
Well, you caught me out there slightly, JC. I was just going to say it's interesting to see Rob McSherry off the front row of the grid. Probably one of the quicker cars out of Christchurch this season, and he's going to have a good chance to run away and take this one off the front if he can keep it all together.
Rightio, back in the next row, the 88 machine of Mark Reeve on his outside. 45 is Ray Massey. The clerk of the course is running like Forrest Gump, and we're about up and underway, and racing we go. And the 92 car of Rob McSherry gets a good start here. He'll go up into turn 1 and 2, leading the charge, racing in the correct direction this time. Back behind him, the 77 car just gets a big snot up the diff by the 59 machine of Alan King now. Around the outside of him will go the 88 car of Mark Reeve now. Good battle going on for 2nd, 3rd, 4th at the moment. 3NZ. Chris Shingleton would be there as well. They come off Mastercard, turn 4, go across the start-finish line. The 92 car of Rob McSherry is the one that leads the charge, going up into 1 and 2 now. Back behind them, we'll see our 59 machine from Rotorua. Alan King doing a great job. 3NZ. Chris Shingleton now ducks down the inside of him now as they head down the back straight. 2 links back, the 88 car would be your next place, one of Mark Reeve. Then we go back about 8 or 9 to the 11 car of Kerry Campbell. About 10 back and behind him, 661 Russell Stewart would be there. 61 looks like just gone round. It's Thomas Earnshaw, which is a bit unusual for him. He's slowed up the 37 machine of Arnie Tahuta, and Tahuta will now get back going again now as we make our way over to the back straight, and the 92 machine of Rob McSherry still leads the charge. Chris Shingleton still up in that 2nd spot there, starting to get pretty close to the 1st place machine now. Alan King's got a wee bit of work to do. He's managed to get back into that 2nd spot as they make their way up into 1 and 2. A good 15 back and behind those 3 cars battling it out for the lead at the moment is the 11 car of Kerry Campbell. Looks like the 88 machine's just lost a whole heap of momentum coming off turn 2, and he's dropped right back about 15 to 18 back behind the 11 car. That's of course the 88 machine of Mark Reeve. About 4 back and behind him, 32 car of Levi Engel. A bit soft this one for these guys for qualifying for the New Zealand title. 661 Russell Stewart, the man from Beachland Speedway in Dunedin, would be your next place car. He's got about 25 back to the 1-2-1 car of Shane McNally now. Let's go back up the front, see what's happening here, and still leading it. It is those group of cars that are battling it out, and they're starting to make their way up through the tail enders. It is the 92 car of Rob McSherry that still leads the charge now. He'll come off turn number 2, leading the charge. Back and behind him, still Alan King in the 59 machines, being pushed all the way by the 3 NZ car of Chris Shingleton. 11 Kerry Campbell can't close that gap up too much, but he's dropped it back to about 8 car lengths now as they come off Mastercard turn 4. 88 still back in that next spot, but he's definitely going backwards, Mark Reeve. He's been caught up by the 32 car of Levi Engel that goes down the inside of him, going across the start finish line up into 1 and 2. 661 Russell Stewart and the Commodore still up in that next spot. Then we've got a bit of a gap back to the 1-2-1 machine of Shane McNally now. And behind them, a bit of a line-up. Looks like it's the 8 car of Dave Blackler now as they make their way down the back straight. Behind him, it will be the 621 car of Anthony Clark from Blenheim. 3782 headers starting to make his way up through the field now as well, but it's still back at about 11th spot. And then Graham Ingham's back there in that next spot. Up the front we go, and still leading the charge. It is the car of 92, Rod McSherry, and he's coming off turn 4, goes across the start-finish line now to complete lap number 8. And behind him, the 3 NZ car of Chris Shingleton's now got through the 59 of Alan King. Here comes Kerry Campbell. If we look down the inside of him now, he'll get down the inside, coming off turn 2, makes his way down the back straight. King now drops back to 4th spot. A bit of a gap back. We'll see our next place car. Looks like it's going to be the 32 car of Levi Engel. He's been closed up pretty quickly though by the 661 car of Russell Stewart as they come off turn 4 now, line it up for the front straight, go across the start finish line. 88 starting to still drop back through the field. Mark Reeve doesn't quite have the pace in this machine, that's for sure. And behind him, Shane McNally would be in that next spot, and the 1-2-1 car about 4 or 5 lengths off the pace now. Big gap back, forget the rest. It's where it's going to be is up the front. And 92 McSherry starting to drive away a wee bit here. He's opened up to pretty much half a length to the front straight. Back to our second place car there, 3 NZ Chris Shingleton. 11 though, here he comes. Kerry Campbell starting to challenge him now as he comes off turn 2. Thomas Earnshaw's a wee bit of lap traffic there. He's starting to make his way through it. The 11 car of Kerry Campbell. Back behind him, still Alan King's got that 59 car still holding off that spot. He's got a big gap back, 32 Levi Engel, who's made a bit of a break here from the 661 car of Russell Stewart as they go across the start-finish line. Lap number 11 has been completed as 92. Rob McSherry lines it up over Mastercard, turn 3 and 4. He comes across the start-finish line now to complete lap number 12, heading towards the middleman sign there in the corporate area, and he's doing a pretty good job up the front there at the moment. Comes off turn 2, lines it up for the back straight now. Back and behind him, the 11 car of Kerry Campbell's now got round the outside of the 3 NZ car of Chris Shingleton. 1 spot back, 59 Alan King looks like he's found a wee bit of pace now. He makes his way up into Mastercard 3 and 4. A big gap back, and I mean a big one. It is the 32 of Levi Engel. He's opened up about 25 back to the 661 car of Russell Stewart, now being passed on the inside by the 1-2-1 car of Shane McNally. Russell Stewart goes too high, and he's going to lose a bit of momentum here. Looks like the 621 car of Anthony Clark getting a bit of a shunt going into turn 1 as well. White flag's about to make its way out, and it does go out to the 92 car of Rob McSherry now. He's up into 1 and 2. Got a beautiful wee run going on here. 661 Russell Stewart's got a right front that's gone flat. That's why he's come to a bit of grief. As we go to the last 2 turns, Mastercard left to go for the local man. 92 Rob McSherry comes off turn 4. He puts the foot up for it. There we go. Local man takes the win here. Checkered flag drops for the 92 car Rob McSherry. 11 Kerry Campbell did close the gap up a bit, but too little too late from the 3 NZ car of Chris Shingleton, and we have to wait a wee while for our next place car. Here he comes now, I think, 32. It will be Levi Engel from the 1-2-1 car of Shane McNally, back in 7th spot just as the 88 car of Mark Reeve. 37.82 header. He come right from the tail end of the field and got himself up into 8th. So that's a good drive. Back in that next spot, which is 9th, is the 4 car of Gordon Ingham, and rounding out the top 10 is the 8D car of Craig Blackler. Back in 10th spot, Tony Mr. T.
So I guess you could say fairly predictable race win for Rob McSherry there. We know he's got the pace, and off the front of that grid he was always going to be the car to catch, wasn't he? And no one really could catch him. 2.2 seconds back to the second place Kerry Campbell from Dunedin. Excellent drive from him. He started on the 3rd row from the back of that grid, so to come up for second place there, that's really good points for him and a really good result.
So
Rob McSherry, first up heat for you and a first up win off the front of the grid. You'd be pretty happy with that.
Yeah, stoked. I've seen a couple of the cars catching up behind me, but they disappeared. I don't know if they got taken out or not, but yeah, I was glad to see that when they were going in the mirror. But yeah, happy, yeah.
And you've had plenty of pace this season. You seem to be carrying that into this meeting. You're quietly confident you're going to qualify for tomorrow night?
Yeah, it's definitely got the pace, but yeah, anything can happen, eh? All it takes is one little mistake and it's all over, really. So yeah, it's not over till it's over, really. And I'll be happy at the end of the night when we're through. So.
Well, we wish you lots of luck for the next one. Thanks very much.
Cheers, thank you.
Roger that. So we're just getting the 721 car of Daniel Honey, who was a millimetre too far. So they need to be perfect here. We don't want any that P word that they say around street stock racing.
P word?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
The pro tip. Oh, it's just about said it.
Oh, I thought you said Palmerston North.
Smash the P. Right. Ready to go. Clark of the course lines them up. He's not very fast out, Clark of the course. I think he's getting old. Struggling to get down there. Can we have a Zimmer frame to the Clark of the course, please? So he gets down a bit quicker. Come on. Shorten Street's on. Is it? No, it's good. It's finished. Right. He is up and ready to go, though. Let's do it. Go now. There you go. Wave it. The green thing in your hand. Racing. Right. Who's got the start? 721. Looks like he's the man. Daniel Honey gets a great start off the front there, and back and behind him the 33 car of Steve Dryden gets a little bit too wide as the 16 of Trevor de Malmanche has a wee sniff down the inside now as they make their way up into turn 1, 3 and 4. It's the 721 car. It leads the charge at the moment, though. That 33 Steve Dryden now ducks down the inside, not without a bit of a fight, though. Dryden's got a whole heap of cars that's trying to push him through there as they start to sort themselves out. Everybody's come off turn 4. 33 Steve Dryden's the one that leads the charge now, gets the power down as he heads down the back straight. 16 Trevor de Malmanche now catches up and gets right up behind his dips as we look round the outside as they make their way up into Mastercard turn 3. Oh, there's all sorts of cars. 555 Mitchell Lavender, the 98 car looks like near Chris Miles, and 44 Dan Parks all taking themselves out there. 269 has also gone round. Les Massey now. Back up the front we go, though, and the 16 car of Trevor de Malmanche has doled him beautifully here. He'll light him up into turn 3 and 4 now, and 33 Steve Dryden's in that next spot. Those very quick HQ Holdens from Gisborne, and the 10 car of Brendan Gooch would be your next place car as he comes off turn 4. Back and behind him, 62 Machine is your next one of Dave McSherry now as he lines up into turn 1 and 2. Back behind them, 721 cars going backwards. That's Daniel Honey. And behind him, one spot's the 2NZ car of Steve Pedersen now as they line up into turn 3 and 4. The 371 car of Hayden Kirk would be your next place car from 77 there. Looks like he's next. That's Kyle Mooney now. Let's go back up the front. Then the 16 car of Trevor de Malmanche is the one that leads the charge. He comes off turn 2 and got the Aussie Spears car dialed him beautifully here. He's opened up pretty much a half a length to the back straight back to the 33 car of Steve Dryden. A half a length and behind him, 10 car is Brendan Gooch. Then we've got a bit of a gap, 15 back and behind him. Looks like Steve Pedersen now doing a wee job. Will lead number on the 62 car of Dave McSherry as they make their way up into Mastercard turn 1 and 2 now. Back behind them, we'll see the 721 car of Daniel Honey. Then back one spot, Hayden Kirk is in 7th in the 371 Machine as the 82 car gets back to the infield there. That's Graham Jackson, parks it up. He's going to get a bit of a chance to get a restart, though, and he's off and away a go. He is off again. Up the front we go, and it's de Malmanche comes off turn number 2 beautifully now. It looks like Gooch now has got down the outside of the 33 of Dryden now as they make their way up into turn 3 and 4. 62 still on the pace as well, Dave McSherry. 2NZ Steve Pedersen's about 2 back and behind him. Then we got the 371 car. It's Hayden Kirk's in that next spot now as he comes off turn 4. A little bit too sideways, got it back though. He's all over the place actually as he goes across the start finish line now. In behind him we'll see our next place car. Looks like it's the 77 Machine of Kyle Mooney now. In behind Mooney, the 12 car of Kelly Campbell starting to get on the pace now as well. He's ducked in behind some lap traffic in the form of the 98 Machine of Chris Miles now. Let's go back up the front. And the 16 Machine starting to make his way comfortably through the lap traffic. Trevor de Malmanche goes up into turn 3. Back behind him, it's still the 10 car of Brendan Gooch. 33 Steve Dryden comfortably back in 3rd spot at the moment. One spot back, we'll see the 62 machine. They're quite a way back as well, probably about 15-20 back is the 62 car, and that is Dave McSherry being pushed all the way by the 2NZ machine. Oh, it looks like 555 Mitchell Lavender's having a rough one here as they make their way down the back straight, and the Gooch and Dryden just go down the inside of Mitchell Lavender. A bit of a line-up here. 2NZ's getting pushed all the way by the 62 car of Dave McSherry. Good battle going on for those places back there, and that's for 4th and 5th at the moment, and 2NZ's got it now as they make their way down the back straight. The 16 car, de Malmanche, lines it up into turn number 3 now. Gooch still holds off that second spot. He's pretty much a link to the back straight, back in second now. About 5 or 6 in behind him, it's the 33 car of Steve Dryden. Being closed up pretty quickly though by the 2NZ car of Steve Pedersen, then 62 machine of Dave McSherry would be next now. We have to wait a wee while for a next place car to go across the line. It is the 371 car of Hayden Kirk. Then back behind him, 7 Damien Parker's managed to make his way up through the field as well. Kyle Mooney would be your next place car from the 12 of Kelly Campbell. One spot back, the 721 car of Daniel Honey. And then we go back behind him, it's the 52 car of Graham Morris. We're into lap number 12 as we look for our front running car. 16, it is de Malmanche. He's up into turn 3 and 4. Beautifully dialed in here. He's got a good lead over the next place car. That's of course 10 Gooch. Behind him 2NZ. Steve Pedersen's got through Steve Dryden now in the 33 machine. Dryden's just hugging that pole line, and the car doesn't handle too well going around the wrong way. As we go back and behind him, the 62 machine of Dave McSherry would be next. They're all lined up here as they make their way down the back straight, and looks like the 16 machine. He's pretty much on the opposite side of the track. The white flag comes out, 1 to go for him. It's all his to lose now as they make their way across. The 2NZ cars now moved into second spots. The Pedersen's made up a few spots. The 10 car of Gooch is in that next spot. But here we go, 2 turns left to go from the man from Rotorua, the Aussie Spears sponsor machine. It is going to be Trevor de Malmanche. He'll come off this turn and he'll get the checkered flag, takes the win now. Let's go and have a cup of coffee and a hot dog and some chips. Wait for second. Here he is, 2NZ Steve Pedersen from 10. Brendan Gooch from the 62 car of Dave McSherry, and behind him 33 Steve Dryden. And then we go back, Hayden Kirk, good drive from him, the 371 machine. Back 1 spot, 7 Damien Parker, he would be in 7th spot. The 77 car should be next, I think, and that is the car of Kyle Mooney from the 12 car of Kelly Campbell, and rounding out the top 10, it will be the 721 car of Daniel Honey. Over to you, Tony T.
Well, that's the 2013 3NZ, Trevor de Malmanche, showing us what he's capable of. Boy, does that car just hang on and go, doesn't it? He's got 1 wheel in the loose, 1 wheel on the middle of the track, and he just takes that line all the way around, keeps his speed up through the turns. Very, very self-assured driver who seems to know exactly what he's doing on a track I don't think he's raced on very often before. His fastest lap was a 21.71 on lap 11 of that 15-lap race. That's the quickest lap we've seen so far in the 3 street stock heats that we've watched. Pedersen came through well. He shaped to go wide coming into turn 1, and then ducked to the inside, and that was enough to get past Gooch, who got held up with the traffic that was a little bit wider on the track. He did a 22.05, Gooch a 22.08, and Dave McSherry right up there with the same similar lap times too, a 22.17. Those top 4 very quick drivers.
So Trevor, first up race for your group, and you come away with the win, you'd be pretty happy?
Yep, yeah, no, pretty happy. Quite enjoyed the track. It's a good drive line out there.
You look to be very cruisy out there. You had 1 wheel in the middle of the track, 1 wheel in the loose, and you're just going around and round and round.
Yeah, no, there's plenty of drive. They like car likes a slick track. I'm hoping it'll get a bit slicker for the later in the night.
It may well do, and of course you had the fastest lap time we've seen so far, so you'd be pretty pleased with that as well.
Yeah, always happy with the fastest lap time.
Well, we wish you lots of luck for later on in the night.
Cheers, thanks.
As they make their way out onto the track now, the 86 car, the Zebra car. Many a memory from somebody that particularly drove a Zebra car, of course, Joel Kugazu, multiple New Zealand champ as well. And this is his nephew that's racing, Chris Kugazu de la Boursier. So he'll lead them out. And behind him, the 8 car of Ryan Bowater. And then we go back, another Toyota Sora, the 99 machine of Brett Bauer. Bit of fun racing to get him here. It was a great effort from everybody concerned that gave him a bit of a hand to get here. He wasn't going to be racing in it. 86 lines him up, as we said before. The Hoonigan? Different. Quite a cool wee car, that actually. The way he's got the set up. 81, green flag is up. We'll be up and underway, ready for this race. Of course, Kiwi Doi Spears, heat number 1. Racing we go. Kugazu gets a good start, lines them up into 1 and 2, racing in the correct position this time, anti-clockwise, as they make their way down the back straight now. And Chris Kugazu opens up about 3 or 4 back to the 34 machine of Pat Engel. In behind them, a bit of a scraps going on there. Oh, looks like Kugazu's been taken actually to the wall by Simon, by the looks of things, the 1NZ car. And I would say he's just become a oh no, it's not, it's the 31. What am I thinking of? It is the 34 car, Pat Engel, that took him to the wall, sorry. As we go back up the front now, and it is the 11 car there. It looks like Steve de Malmanche now takes over that lead, making his way up into Mastercard turn 3 and 4. 46 machine of Sean Andrew would be in second spot, being have a wee look down the insides. Paul Leslie in the 27 car. Looks like 76 Darryl Richards got the pace on as well. 99 Brett Bowers about to be caught up by the sister car, the 1NZ car of Paul Simon now makes his way out of turn 2. About 5 or 6 back, we'll see the 29 car of Shannon Knight. In behind him, 9 the car of James Robinson would be next, and we go back to the 98 machine of Neville Soper now. Oh, look at this, Kugazu's having all sorts of problems here, and he just got taken by the 10 car of Alan Parkle. He's got back going again though, as we look for our front running car. He's coming off turn 2, halfway down the back straight, making his way up into 3 and 4. 11 Steve de Malmanche has got it dialed in beautifully here. Back behind him now, just taken over that second spot. Oh, he's got a back left tyre that's gone flat though. The 76 car of Darryl Richards, that's going to slow him up dramatically now, as the 27 machine gets into that second spot, and that is the car of Paul Leslie now as he makes his way down the back straight. The 1NZ car of Paul Simon still holds off that third spot now as they make their way up into Mastercard turn 3 and 4. 99 Brett Bauer would be your next place car now as he comes off turn 4. And behind him it's a bit of a line-up. James Robinson's there. Then we go back. 81 car would be next. That's Steve Gwatkin now. 1 spot back we'll see the 46 machine, and that is the car of Sean Andrew. And behind him about 2 backs, the 29 car of Shannon Knight. And then we go back quite a bit to the spots to the 98 car of Neville Soper. 25 car of Merv Lewis in that next spot. Then we go back. Don Gartley would be there as well. Then, oh, look at this guy, the 34, Pat Engel's hitting everything, even when it's going slowly around the outside of the wall. Craig Campbell there in the Charger, just got a snot from him, and that's a red. And I think Pat Engel must have had some angry pills or something, I don't know.
Well, he has this reputation at Woodford, Glen, doesn't he, as a driver who doesn't flag race, doesn't go out to try and win races. He goes out there to try and affect who can win, and he often puts the block or the hit on, whether he's driving a stock car or I think he's had to go in a super stock on a few occasions, and certainly with the street stock. So typical driving from Pat Engel, you'd have to say.
Good way to make a couple of dollars, more than what a commentator makes. Racing we go. And let's see who's got it this time around as they go across the start-finish line. The 11 car is the one that leads the charge now, and that is the car of Steve de Malmanche. And behind him, the 1NZ machine of Paul Simons just lurking around in the background there as they make their way off turn 2. And behind him, 27 car of Paul Leslie's pretty all by himself, pretty comfortably at the moment from the 9 car of James Robinson's about 3/4 of a length to the back straight back of that next spot. And behind him, we'll see the 99 car of Brett Bauer, 76 Darryl Richards' tyres looking worse with every lap that he does. He's still getting around there though, and looks like he's going to come down to the infield there. You can see the tyres really doing a lot of damage, possibly underneath it as well, as the red comes on. Here's the red, and that was for what?
There's a great big blue thing in the middle of the track.
Green racing. Right. De Malmanche. Oh, Kugazu has a swipe at the 1NZ car. Nothing comes of it though, as they start to sort themselves back out again. 11 car Steve de Malmanche. He's up on turn 2 now, makes his way down the back straight. Simons closed it down to about 8 or 9 car lengths back in second. Then we go back behind him. It will be the 27 car Paul Leslie. And you can see there's a whole group of cars coming off Mastercard 4. A lot of guys that are black cars, and with Simons being held up dramatically here by the 17 machine of Mark Smith from Blenheim. Let's see what happens here. He's going to have a wee look down the inside, gives him a bit of a tap, says get out of the bloody road, makes his way up into turn 3 and 4. But it looks like the Malmanche is off and gone. He goes across the start-finish line easily here. Back behind him, the 1NZ car of Paul Simon's now moved up into that second spot, trying to hunt him down. He's got a good break away from the rest. Oh, look at that big hit, 34 again. Pat Angell on the 86 car of Chris Kugazu. He just absolutely nailed him up between turn 1 and 2, and I'd say that'll be an end to the car of Pat Angell as they make their way up into 1 and 2. Is surely going to cause a red here. But 11 Steve de Malmanche still leads it. He's got about 25-30 car lengths over the 1NZ car, Paul Simon. Then we go back 9, James Robinson will be on that next spot now. Oh, Leslie just about puts himself over coming off turn 2, and he's going around. He's obviously might have a bit of an issue as well, and he sort of had a bit of a horrible one there. 29, Shannon Knights up into 5th spot. 99, Brett Bauer. 33, Don Garfley, all racing for position there. Oh, somebody's gone up in flame or smoke. It is the 57 machine as the red light comes on. Bruce McIntosh has come to a bit of a stop. The Dart Engineering sponsored machine there. But Pat Angell, one hit too many, Tony.
Yeah, that's right, and probably you could say the same too for Kuguzu's car as well. But certainly,
Kazugu?
Well, whatever. He's your favourite driver, I know that. So 57 certainly providing the spectacular action on that lap, though, wasn't he?
Now, the other thing, too, I was talking to one of the drivers, and they did say that there's a bit of a concern out there because there's a couple of what they call hit cars out there, guys that have come out just to slow up the progress of other people, and I'd say Angell was definitely one of those with the way he's been driving, but the green flag is up and underway now, and the reds come straight on, and that will be for...
Is the silver car over there, is that...
He started moving, though.
Yeah, is that the 8N? Is
yes,
that
Ryan Bowater. Yep. Right, green flag gets dropped and away we go. And it is, of course, the car of Steve de Malmanche. White flag comes out, 1 to go for him. The Aussie Spears sponsored machine makes his way up into 1 and 2 now. 1NZ Simon, done enough. James Robinson's in behind him. Then the 27 car, Paul Leslie, still functioning somehow. You had a bit of hit coming off turn 2 earlier on. But it's just the 1 turn left to go for our lead machine, the 11 car. It will be from Rotorua Speedway. It is, of course, Steve de Malmanche. He'll take the win from the 1NZ car of Paul Simon. And behind him, 9, James Robinson. Great drive from him. 27, Paul Leslie would be next. And then we'll have to wait a wee while. I think 33, Don Garthley should just about be the next one in the old Val. He's made his way up through the field quite nicely as well. From 6th spot, 99, Brett Bauer. 7th was 29, Shannon Knight. 8th was the 25 car of Merv Lewis. And then back behind Merv, we'll see the 9th spot, the 98 machine would be your next one there. And that was the car of Neville Soper. And rounding out that top 10 is the 46 machine. And that is Sean Andrew Tony Mustaki.
Yeah, well, a bit of action in that race, wasn't there? Whether the previous race was pretty free of any incidents, this one had quite a number of stoppages in the middle and plenty of action as cars hit each other in the wall. De Malmanche, obviously, pretty capable driver. I mean, you've only got to look down his resume to expect that. Twice 2NZ, the 1NZ in 2013, and showing his pace here tonight. Certainly got what it takes to get round this track pretty quickly. Fastest car out there was actually Paul Simon, the current 1NZ, did a 21.85, did well to come through some difficult traffic situations to take that second place.
So Steve, you've come away with a win in your first heat of the night. You'd be pretty pleased with that?
Yes, but tomorrow night's the one we want.
So you're keeping your powder dry there, are you?
Yeah, keeping out of trouble.
Certainly some good pace though in the car.
Yeah, very happy with it. The car likes the track. Very happy.
Fantastic. You racing Trevor at all? Is there any rivalry between you?
Yeah, he's been beating us in the last few rounds, but we'll see.
And what's with the duck on the front of the car?
We actually found that at Dunedin, on the way to Dunedin when we won the New Zealand's 3 years ago, and we put it back on.
So it's your lucky mascot?
Yeah. We picked it up at Christchurch at the John's Motel, took it all the way to Dunedin, and we won there, and my mate hung on to it for the 3 years, and I rang him up 2 nights ago and I said, have you still got that duck? And he said, yep, so I put it in there.
Fantastic. Well, I hope it brings you luck for the rest of the night.
Yeah, I hope so.
Thank you. Cheers.
Right, 271's the one that leads them out, and he'll start off grid position number 1. That's Glen Redman on his outside. 31 will be Simon Bland on that row beside him. Row 2 will see the 4 car of Toby McClenaghan on his outside. Of course, these guys started off the back in the first race, the 828 car of Matt Stewart. Row 3 will see the 13 car of Scott Palmer on his outside will be the 93 car of Aaron Schumacher. Row 4 will see the 32 car of from Nelson Graham Kiddo on his outside, 19C Chris Lee. Row 5 will see the 54 car, the man that failed to finish the last race, that's Kirk Aldridge on his outside, 27 Peter Knight. Row 6 will see the 58 car of Michael King on his outside, the winner of the last heat, 63 Steve Jackson. Row 7 will see the 8 car of Colin Robinson on his outside. We'll see the 9 car of Ryan Musgrove. Row 8 will see 24 of Chris Elkington on his outside, another car that didn't finish, the 16 car of Casey McEwen. Row 9 will see the 86 car from Christchurch, that's Shane Chapman. On his outside will be the 44 car of Andrew Keach. Row 10 will see the 72 car, and that is a very quick Darren Melling machine. On his outside we'll see the 36 car of Nigel Thomas. And all by himself, back there in the last row, will be the 11 car of JC Anderson, who also failed to finish the last race. So we're about ready to go. Clark of the course has lined them up, hands it over to the starter. Green is going to go up here for heat number 2 of the Blakely Construction Group. Racing we go. And the 271 car is the one that gets the good start this time round. That's Glen Redmond now. Comes out of mini stocks and into this type of class. He's being passed on the inside though by the 4 car of Toby McClenaghan, and also involved there the 13 car of Scott Palmer as they make their way up into Masterguard turn 3 and 4. Oh, looks like Shane Chapman's just gone round, courtesy of 72 Darren Melling now, holding up the 19 car of Chris Lee now as they go up into 1 and 2. The lead car about to be passed. There's the 8 car of Colin Robinson now takes over the lead. And behind him, 13 car of Scott Palmer's about to be passed on the inside by 58 Michael King as they make their way up into Masterguard turn 3 and 4. 1 spot back, 13 of Scott Palmer would be your next place machine there. And behind him, it's the next car for Toby McClenaghan, 72 Darren Melling, and then the 828 car of Matt Stewart there getting down the inside of the 32 of Graham Kiddo. 31 Simon Bland starting to go around the outside of him, coming off turn 2 now as well. 16 Casey McEwen's found a wee bit of extra power this time round, starts to make his way down into Masterguard turn 3 and 4. About 10 and behind him, looks like Melling's gone round. Oh, a couple of cars been taken to the wall there. 58, that's the car was in second, and also Darren Melling. So these guys are obviously going to try and stop these North Islanders from qualifying as they make their way down the back straight. And back in the lead is the 13 car of Scott Palmer. Therefore, Toby McClenaghan having a wee look down the inside now. Then 8 Colin Robinson's about 10 or 15 off the pace. Another 25-30 back, 16 Casey McEwen's having a great run with the 63 car of Steve Jackson. Darren Melling's back in that next spot there in the 72B machine. Then we go back, it is the 58 car of Michael King now. 31 Simon Bland gets it a bit too wide, going up between 1 and 2, scrubs off a bit of speed, drops back about 6 or 8 behind the 58 machine now. Then behind them we'll see the 36 car, the next one of Nigel Thomas, then Andrew Keach is in behind him, about 4 back the 271 machine, the pole sitter, that's Glen Redmond now, comes off Masterguard turn 4. And behind him 27 Peter Knight's your next place car, the Prozac machine, and then we go back about 2 to the 828 car of Stewart. Look at this, they're into the side of Melling, and it's 16 McEwen, and also can't quite make out the other car there as they start to get a bit of a start going on here. Melling's come to a complete stop, he's parked up on turn 2, he gets back going now, and it looks like it would have been the 11 car of JC Anderson that did the damage in that one. So for Toby McClenaghan, he's your lead machine, and he's actually right beside the 16 car of Casey McEwen now as they come off turn 4, start to make their way up, and there's the red, so that'll be for the 11 car. He was obviously had somebody dialed in to knock out Melling, and Melling's still going, but it certainly slowed him up. He's dropped right back to what's he dropped back to, dude? It's 15th now.
Yeah, he was 3rd or 4th at one stage early in the race. He dropped back to about 5th or 6th, and now, as you say, he's down to 15th.
He's got a lot of work to do if he wants to get into qualifying for this New Zealand title. As the green flag gets dropped, and away we go. So our lead machine is the 8 car of Colin Robinson, the 8. He's about to come off turn number 2 now. Right up behind him, 63, Steve Jackson's caught up. He's made up a lot of ground too. Then we go back 1 spot, also a car that's drifted right back. That's Michael King in the 58 machine. He's back up into, no he's not, he's well down. Right, so let's have a wee look. Toby McClenaghan's actually the one that leads it, so the electronic lap scoring was lying to me. And Toby's just coming off turn 2, heads down the back straight now. Back in behind Tim, we'll see 13 Scott Palmer, and behind Palmer will be the 8 car of Colin Robinson, now being passed on the inside by the 63 car of Steve Jackson as they come off turn number 4 now. Back in behind them, it's a big gap back to the 31 car of Simon Bland, then 27 Peter Knight. Those two coming off turn 4 now. Let's go back over to the lead car, and it is the 4 car of Toby McClenaghan. He's comfortably doing it at the moment. Right in behind him is the car 72 Melling, but he's down a lap as we go back to our next place machine, 63 Steve Jackson. He's got about half a length to the front straight to make up now as they go across the start finish line to complete lap number 10. In behind them it's 13, it's Scott Palmer's up in 3rd spot, then 50, no it's not 8 car of it is 58 Mike King is in that next spot now. 1 spot back it'll be the 8 car of Colin Robinson, and then a massive gap back, 31 car of Simon Bland's the length of the back straight back in that next spot. Another 4 or 5 back, 27 Peter Knight. So Melling's been round again. 86 Shane Chapman got him coming off 4, so he's having a hard one on this one, but you must have known that coming down. And left front's collapsed on that car. Look at that, the wheel's not going round, it's flat. But he's still getting around there. Oh, he's going to go over. Yes, he does. It's a nice roll as well. And beautiful. And that, unfortunately, Tony, was just because the tyre had sort of ripped itself off.
Yeah, I think it was Steve Jackson who actually spun him round out of turn 4. And as you say, it was a good hit into the front of the car. Took the wheel under a lot of pressure. And as you say, as he went to turn into the corner there, bang, over he goes.
Does what he needs to do.
11 laps down.
Let's do it. Green. 4, McClenaghan. The Full Blast Chapman Auto Surgery sponsored car. He leads them going up into 1 and 2 now. Back in behind Tim, but still the 63 car of Steve Jackson. He's still got about 15 to make up though. About 9 or 10 back in behind Tim. It's the 8 of Colin Robinson's got 58 Mike King starting to catch up a wee bit there. And the big HQ Holden wagon now as he makes his way out of Masterguard turn 4. A good half a length to the front straight back to the next place car, 31 Simon Bland, about another 25-30 back to 27 Peter Knight. Then we've got the 828 car of Matt Stewart, had a bit of an attention from the 13 car of Scott Palmer now as they make their way up into 1 and 2. Let's go back up the front though. Shouldn't be too long before we see a white flag as there it is there as 1 lap to go for the 4 car of Toby McClenaghan. Makes his way up into 1 and 2 now. Back behind Tim, 63 Steve Jackson's been caught up now by the 58 car of King. There is, it looks like 8 Colin Robinson's not going to give it up though without a fight. Chapman's just sloping around the inside there as he makes his way down into turn 3 and 4. 58 King's not too keen to go around the outside of him, and that's the reason why, but Chapman misses out, but the checkered flag does drop for the 4 car of Toby McClenaghan. Back in 2nd spot, it was the 8 car of Colin Robinson. 63 Steve Jackson would be your next place car. Then we go back in that next spot, 58 Mike King. From the 5th to 31 car of Simon Bland, 627 Peter Knight, 7th 828 Matt Stewart, 8th was a 13 car of Scott Palmer, 9th was a 19 car of Chris Lee, and rounding out the top 10 is the 271 car of Glen Redman.
So Mike King there, the fastest lap at 22.08. McClenaghan and Robinson in the low 23s as their fastest lap, so they're almost a second a lap slower, but they were quicker overall around the track as they took out 1st and 2nd place. Jackson in 3rd. If we look at the points, we see the 44 points of this stage. Unofficial, of course, because this is all off the ELS, but unofficially McClenaghan on 44 points, tied with Jackson. So those are the top 2 in this group so far. Simon Bland on 38 points. Then we'd go down to Palmer on 34, Keach on 33, and Mike King on 33.